Alrighty, this is my CS452 MVP using SQL Database. I started building this app last winter semester for a different class, but just the front end, I've had to change a decent amount of that because of using a SQL database. I'm using Postgres and a Node API instead of Firebase like I did before. Anyway, I had to change some of that, but basically it's a camping rentals app. I made a with my SQL database, my Postgres database. I have just two tables, a users table and a rentals table. I'm thinking now I probably could have split out the rentals table, and because different rentals are going to have maybe some different information, and they could all have a common rentals table that they all get put into. But for now, I'm just keeping them all as rentals, and they all get the same information input. So this is just kind of the homepage, just kind of explains a little bit about what the app is about. Here we're going to go ahead, and it's a weird error I keep getting that doesn't seem to matter. Anyway, here's a list of the 4 different categories that I have for different renting items. So right now I've just got ATVs and RVs in. So if you click on ATVs, this is getting all of the ATVs from my database. You can click on them individually. Rent item. Right now this doesn't do anything, but I figured for the purposes of showing off the database, I don't need to actually be sending emails out and things like that. There's ATVs, there's RVs. So that's showing that I can get all the data from the excuse me, from my SQL database, from my Postgres database. So here we're going to go ahead. On this page, I just kind of lumped a whole bunch of stuff together. Realistically, I would do the front end differently and do some of the stuff differently, but this is just for the purpose of showing that I can do all the stuff on here, and I figured it didn't need to be perfect for an MVP. Anyway, here is right here. We're going to go ahead and create some items in the database. We're going to make a whole bunch of RVs. I'm going to make them in Southern Utah. I'm going to keep a lot of the info the same and just change different stuff. I'm going to name them. Let's go ahead and name this RV26. Just add some random stuff in here. This doesn't, really matter. Blah blah. Let's go ahead and hit add rental. And I've got Postman up here on the side. So if I go to get all the rentals, you should be able to see here at the bottom this one that I just put in. Yeah, here's blah blah and all the stuff I typed in. Always generated a new ID. Right now I'm using the same user. I'm just assuming everyone's in as a particular user. I'm not having them log in yet, but again, I felt like that was kind of outside the scope of this MVP. So for now, I'm just assuming everyone's logged in as the same user. Let's go ahead and create a new user. I'll call it new user name. We'll just say 17 to be random. Just say password. Normally, also, typing in your password, this would be blocked out. You wouldn't be able to see it. But again, for testing purposes and showing that it works, I figured, what the heck. I'll just go ahead and show it on the screen. New user 17, new user 17 at gmail.com. We'll just do some random pretend phone number. Go ahead and create the user. There, that user is created. So it should be new user 17. Should be here at the bottom. There you go. So that's created. Again, I would do this differently with deleting. I probably wouldn't require them to know the exact ID per se. They'd probably be logged in and be able to then just delete their own user and only be able to delete their own rentals, and I would have access to the IDs and everything in the background. But again, just for testing purposes to show that it works, I figured I didn't need to make the front end super spectacular. So anyway, you'd have to grab the rental ID. Let's go ahead and delete this one that we just made. Here's the ID. Go ahead and run this. It says it was deleted. Let's go ahead and check and make sure. It looks like it was deleted. Let's go ahead. Yep, can't find it in here, so that's gone. Let's go ahead and look up users. So here's the cool part. So that particular user, we should be able to go over here and see that, a couple of these were made by, I guess I did RV25 twice, but anyway, these were both made by the one user that I'm currently logged in as, or pretending to be logged in as. Let's go ahead and delete that user and see what happens to that user's items here. Let's go ahead and grab, I think I was, let's go ahead and see if I can find this one. I think this is, yeah, this is one of the RV25, so it'll be the owner. Here's the owner I want. So this particular user, let's go ahead and delete this user. Looks like this user was deleted. Let's go ahead and send and make sure. Let's do control find. Can't find it here. And here's the cool part. Right now with my app, I don't have it updating directly. I have to refresh, but it will update it. So if we go here, you can see that those two that were created by that user are gone. So I'm doing a cascade delete, connecting each rental to its owner. So if its owner's account gets deleted, then all of those rentals get deleted out of the system because, you know, there's no user attached to it, no one to actually rent it out. So there's that. Those are all deleted. Here's some stuff we can do to update. Let me see and make sure, because I think for updating I may be using that particular user, which oh, I'm throwing in the owner ID. That makes sense. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull this up again. Let's grab a particular rental that we would like to update here. Let's go ahead and say, let's grab this bottom one with all this random stuff. Go ahead and throw in the ID and all of this info. Again, I'd probably do some of this differently, but again, just to show that it all works, we're going to keep them on ATVs. We're going to do mid-Utah instead of southern Utah. And then we're just going to, you know, do a whole bunch of random typing in here because this doesn't really matter. So boom, that should have been updated. So let's go ahead and make sure that we have this. So this guy should be updated. Let's go ahead and send this, find that. And as you can see my numbers are just put in there. It's mid-Utah instead of southern Utah. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and update a user. Let's go ahead and just snag user 17. Let's go ahead and throw that in. And then we can just type some of this name. I'll go ahead and change the password, just be password 123, and everything else I'll keep the same. Phone, best phone number ever. Says it was updated. We'll go ahead and make sure that this guy is really here. Yep, there it is. Now you got password 123 instead of just password. All right, so that should show everything available. The creating, getting, or reading, all of them, updating and deleting for users and rentals. And when you delete a user, all of that user's rentals also get deleted. It's a basic MVP. Again, I would, it's only a couple tables there. I would probably do realistically if I didn't really think about it until actually just now, and I'm turning this in 2 days late. So, figured I wasn't going to try and do a huge overhaul right now. But as I've been thinking about it, I think I would probably break the rentals down even further, and I'd still have a rentals table, and each rental would have, all the same information that all rentals have. Plus, I would have each rental point to another table, an RV table, and a canoe/paddleboards table, and an ATV table, and a boats table. And I would just, and then any information that's particular to those categories could be included in their own individual tables. And yeah, anyway, so for now, for the MVP though, and because it's kind of late, I figured, for an MVP especially, I wouldn't go into that much detail to show it off, because as you can see, I can already, show it off, show that it works pretty well. And anyway, so it's only a couple SQL tables, just a users table and a rentals table for now, but it could easily be split into, if you had users and rentals plus these 4 categories, that would be 6 tables. You could go bigger, and that wouldn't be too terrible to implement. Anyway, so there is my MVP video for CS452. And I hope that shows everything. So let's go ahead and end that there.